All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is ManrajPhagura, and I'm going to start off today with going into why I'm making this video. Basically, the reason that this video is being made is that it's an assignment for my business communications professor, and the gist of the assignment is basically to talk about anything that you may want to talk about. And that's about it. It's about as free and as liberal as you may want it to be. All the freedom in the world that you could ever want. And so I found myself struggling for quite a while thinking about what I was going to say. What should I say? What should I talk about? And eventually I came to the conclusion of talking about something that I just love to talk about every day, regardless of the time. And that's sports. I love sports. I think it's something that has taught me a lot over the years. I've been playing sports pretty much my whole life since I was a kid. And it's never come to anything. I'm not a professional or anything along those lines. But I just love sports. I love competition. I love everything that it's done for me. And I think more people should be involved in sports, especially here in America. I feel like there's a lot more that can be done. We have the big sports like football and baseball and basketball, but outside of that, and the people who are into those get tend to be put in their own little circles. But outside of that, there aren't too many options. So I'm here to just encourage everybody to find a sport that they like. And I'm going to go into my presentation here on why you should go do that and what some of the best sports may be for you. So without further ado, I'm just going to start and share that screen with you here. All right. So beginning with the title, why everybody should be a sports fan. And I get that it may not be for everybody, but it's something that I feel like everybody should at least give it a try. And I'm going to go ahead and start with some of the benefits of playing in sports. And so many of the sports are team based. So there's a whole lot that people can learn for building a team, being a part of a team, and even leading a team if it comes to that. So the team aspect of sports, it is the foundation. It's everything that sports is. It's all based on a team, and it's nice because those who maybe sometimes they don't feel like they have that many friends, or maybe they're just feeling alone, they can find comfort in this. It's something that they can just go. Maybe they're surrounded by 5, 10 people. Doesn't matter whether they know them or not. They all know what they came here to do. So it's just about completing that feeling. Everybody's focused on a goal and getting that singular goal done. And that can be translated to so many things. It doesn't necessarily just have to be about sports. Some of the things that you learn in a sports environment may translate into something in business or maybe something in your personal life. And I think that's where sports really comes into its own and to where it can teach you lessons that you take into other places. And I'll get into more about that later here. But getting more into being a part of sports, it's the health and the fitness benefits that I think that come with playing sports that are really beneficial and really something that a lot of people should look into. And it's for some people, they like to complain about going to the gym. Oh, it's too much effort, this, that, or the other. I have to get there. I have to pay for a membership, this, that. Sports is almost free. It's a nice way of getting a good amount of exercise, getting your heart pumping, doing what you can do. Maybe you find yourself in the middle of a workout and you're thinking, I can't make it to the end of this. But when you're playing sports, the thought hardly crosses your mind because you're kind of just so in the moment. And there's so many benefits to living a healthy lifestyle, which sports helps you get into. And that is lower risk of heart disease, lower risk of stroke, diabetes, but also just personally on a mental health aspect, it can just help you be a more confident person, like just going around joking around with your friends when you go play, feeling like you played well. It could improve your whole day. And moving on to following a team. These two pictures are about as real as it gets. It'll be the happiest of times, and it will also be the saddest time that you could even imagine. There have been moments in my life where I've screamed at a goal and started running around the whole room like a child, and I'm 21 years old at this age. It's crazy how even the oldest of adults can just turn into children the moment their team scores. But at the same time, anything that builds you up to get that high, obviously, it can take you down as well. So that's what you see those two fans in the Scottish flags. And Scotland isn't the greatest in big tournaments, so I can imagine they're probably maybe a bit used to this sort of a feeling, but they still love it. They'll tell you, I guarantee it, that they wouldn't trade it for the world, that they wouldn't watch anything else, and that they'll follow that team till they die. It's just how it goes for people who follow the teams. And both in following the teams and in playing in them, you learn so much. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Some of the two main points are the points at the very top: how to lose and how to never give up. You learn how to lose because ultimately, though you try as hard as you can, losing is inevitable. It's going to happen whether you want it to or not. But if you don't know how to handle loss, it's not going to prepare you well in life, because at some point in time, you're going to face a loss of some sort. And if you don't know how to handle it, you're going to be put in a very poor position to recover from it. Whereas those who do know how to lose, they can pick themselves back up, get going on to the next day. And going on to never give up, I mean, there have been moments in sports where the situation has looked as precarious as it could ever look. It they could literally be on the verge of their whole season collapsing and their whole team going away, and somehow they come back from it. Any sports fan will have a memory that they point to and they think that it was a generational moment, something that they've seen that they're never going to see again, or that may never happen again. And it's moments like that that we really care for. Then going in on into a few of the other points, something like it teaching you to pursue perfection. It's something that I sort of thought it was interesting as a child. I heard it somebody say, we must search for perfection, but we know we can never achieve it. And I thought, well, why would we search for it? Doesn't make much sense there. Eventually, after watching so many sports and hearing some of the mindset be explained by some of these top level professionals, I've learned that this pursuit of perfection, it's just what they are. It's their base state is to just pursue perfection. They know it's never going to happen, but that doesn't mean anything. You keep on trying, and you try and try and try. And that ties into never give up. But the pursuit of perfection is just something that, though it can never be achieved, is still what we strive for. And then you learn things like discipline. You have to be incredibly disciplined. There's a whole lot of rules that people have to remember, and there's certain ways to play games. And any kind of game, I mean, it could be something like from chess to football. Like the rules are the rules, and they're each catered to their own sport, which make them unique and build their own fan bases and their own teams and personalities. So it's nice to see stuff like that. And then things like how sports is playing a role in these countries who may not have other things that they could point to, like major metropolitan areas. Maybe they're just, it's a lot of farmland. Maybe there's not a lot going on out there. Maybe it's not a very fruitful region where there's not a whole lot going on. I mean, one of the simplest sports is soccer. It's all you need is a ball, maybe a net, but you can make do with a couple of different variations of a net, and you can get playing. It saves anybody. It doesn't matter where you are. You don't have to be the richest person. You don't have to be the most accessible. As long as you have the basics of it, you're playing soccer, and you can get other people to come with you, and now everybody's playing soccer. And so that's how these communities really find this value in sports, to where they see it as like a religion. If you ask some people in South America how they view soccer, they'll tell you it's like a religion for them. It's everything that they care for, just because it's so intertwined with what they grew up with, like the talks that they had, the conversations that they had with one another, what they would watch on TV as a family, how passionate they'd see their probably how passionate they'd see their dad get, more so than at any other point in their lives. So there's a whole lot that people can learn from sports, just not just learning on the technical side of being able to perform, but also from a value perspective. It's incredibly beneficial. And going on to more benefits, the connections you make in playing sports are some of the most real connections you'll ever make in your life, because you know what everybody is going through. You've all been through the same grueling days of training, early mornings, late nights, having to push other tasks to the side to make room for this. It's about sacrifice, and everybody in that picture knows it. And it can help a lot of people. I mean, I myself, I just moved to Chicago not too long ago. I didn't know anybody when I got here. I only knew some family members, and joining a soccer league has been a great way for me to help meet new people, make friends, get out, be active, and also just to relax and enjoy the sport that I love to enjoy with some other people who I've never met before, but they've been nothing but friendly to me. And it makes me feel like my whole perspective has changed in Chicago, because if I didn't have that, I feel like I'd probably just be doing a whole lot of nothing, sitting around, maybe passing the day away watching TV, or maybe a movie or something. But going on, just, I mean, even if you weren't playing, let's say you were just following a team, you go, you want to watch a game in a bar, like so many do. You go there, you sit down, you're watching the game, you all of a sudden something happens, you and the person next to you start talking about how is a bad call or how is a great goal or what have you. You end up having a conversation with somebody you never would have had a conversation with otherwise, all just because you got to do something that ultimately benefited you in the first place. So this doesn't even come close to scratching the surface of all the benefits that sports can do for you. It's only going to be a 10-minute video. It's a short, quick little thing. But I just want to focus and emphasize that when you start to look more deeply into things that seem to have a basic level to them, you start to realize how technical this can all get, and how there's a lot more to learn than meets the eye. And with that, that slideshow is over, and then we go back to the screen. And I thank you for your time. I appreciate everything. Thank you, Robert, for the semester, and thank you. Have a good one. Peace.